All right, good evening and welcome to Futbol En Vivo on Club Deportes, show number 4. You can find us every Monday at 10 p.m. on clubdeportes.com. Be sure to follow Club Deportes on Twitter at Club Deportes. And be sure to follow Futbol En Vivo on Twitter as well at Futbol Austin, Futbol Austin. I am your host, Eric McCoy, and I am joined by a heartbroken, lifelong Kidderminster Harriers fan. It's David Alvarez. So close, David. Your boys were so close.
Which boys?
The Kidderminster Harriers. You must have gone through some therapy to just block the result out of your mind. You don't even remember it. Declan Rice, Bowen scoring right at the end to prevent it from going to penalties.
I totally forgot about it.
Okay. I don't want to disrupt the therapeutic process. I won't get any further. I won't get any further.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, but I am also joined by a man campaigning to have all future U.S. men's national team qualifying matches played in the northernmost town in Alaska. It is Jorge Chavez.
No. I mean, I love the cold like anybody, good-natured American. But no, I don't want to freeze my assets.
Okay.
It's a family show, Jorge. Family show.
Yes.
But hey, they could always just play in Austin in February.
They could,
and
absolutely.
I would work just as well. They're trying to freeze out the opposition.
If they believe enough in their talent, they can play anywhere.
Absolutely.
But that's just me, I suppose.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the U.S. men's national team. But first, I want to go ahead and start with Austin FC. We're recording this on Monday, airing on Monday. And some big news broke this afternoon. Austin FC have completed the signing of 31-year-old Brazilian midfielder Felipe Martins. He actually had been, kind of on trial with Austin FC and scored the goal in Austin FC's preseason match against Louisville City. Mm-hmm. So we've spoken, especially with the buyout of Ulysses Segura's contract. Midfield was looking a little thin, so I think we all wanted to see an addition made to Austin FC's midfield. Jorge, does Felipe Martins, what do you think of the signing, and how big of a role do you think he's going to play for Austin FC in 2022?
I don't see him as a starter, but I do see him as an occasional starter for if in case one of the I see starters as Ring,
Valencia probably, right?
Valencia probably, because we'll talk about him in a minute, and the DP. Sebastian, oh my God, my mind went blank. Driussi. So I see those three guys as the starters, with Felipe as one of the backups, and the kid out of Virginia Tech from last year, Pereira, as another one. Wow. So those are good options. I do think Felipe brings a lot to the table. He's a 10-year veteran, a little bit of a journeyman, but
bounced around a bit.
Bounced around a bit.
Montreal, New York Red Bulls, Vancouver, DC United. So.
And now with us in Austin FC. So he's got good experience. He's not – I don't think he's exactly a scoring threat, but he's a good box-to-box midfielder.
Box-to-box is what I heard him describe.
Right, and because the one that we do have that is also box-to-box is Pereira, but he doesn't quite have the experience yet. So and I think Valencia is going to be more of a defensive midfielder. So that leaves Ring and Sebastian as Driussi. Why am I blanking today?
It's Driussi.
He's the star man, Jorge. You got to get his name down. I think he's the best player on
He's going to be
FC.
like the best player. So anyways, but
he has been the best player.
He has, yeah. So I think those two guys are going to be the offensive side of the midfield. So it's a good signing. I like the signing.
Yeah, here's the so Felipe had a really nice quote, and I found a couple of interesting things in what he said during his announcement today, and I really want to share this with you in particular, David, because what Felipe said was, "I want to thank everyone at Austin FC, especially Claudio, Josh, and the rest of the technical staff." He said, "Everything I've seen, from the training facility to the stadium to the way we train and work, is rare and inspiring." David, what do you think? You've been critical of the training of Austin FC.
But what did he say at the end? It's rare. Didn't he say it's
rare? Okay, that could go both ways. But inspiring though. He finds
rare
it
and
inspiring.
That's the key.
And this is a guy, he's been with Montreal, New York Red Bulls, Vancouver, DC. Now, he's been around. And what he sees in training under Josh Wolf is rare and inspiring.
Well, you always can say things like that, but the one thing is to go ahead and play the same way you want to play in practice, right? If it's rare and inspiring and you win, I don't have a problem with it. What problem with it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Win?
Well,
okay, so a couple of interesting things. He, speaking with his time with
they show me in the field that doesn't happen.
Well, okay, so he's when he was with the New York Red Bulls, actually, he started all 34 matches during their 2015 Supporters Shield winning season. I think that's of note.
Yeah.
I know we're now going to be 5 years removed from that, but at least kind of shows you that at his peak, he was the type of player that you could depend on match in, match out in midfield. I'm kind of looking at his player profile on fbref.com. He profiles as more of a passer as opposed to like a ball carrier dribbler type, so he is a little different from Danny Pereira in that sense, because I think Danny Pereira absolutely wants to get on the ball and just surge forward through midfield. So he's a slightly different profile of player, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's always good to have multiple profiles of players in midfield. But overall, I think this is a really good signing. And it actually comes on the heels of the arrival of Johan Valencia. Yeah. He actually made his Austin debut, or at least it was unveiled to the fans. Johan Valencia. There we go. Johan is a young, talented midfielder with great defensive instincts and an eye for the ball. Claudio Reyna, that's what he has to say about Johan Valencia. And he had a really nice kind of meeting with the fans outside. Were you out there with Valencia whenever he met with all the fans this weekend, David?
No, but I saw it on Twitter. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not front and center right there on the bullhorn. That's usually kind of your go-to spot for these types of things.
Yeah. And I'll be the one when we win a game. Yeah, then I'll be there. After that, I'm not going to be there.
You heard it here, Johan. You got to win if you want to see David and the bullhorn show up. So here's the interesting thing. So Johan Valencia, Colombian. So it's the second Colombian on Austin FC. Felipe Martins, Brazilian. You got Sebastian Driussi, Argentinian. So very South American feel. But I'm noticing one nation is not been represented yet from South America.
Yeah. There's Uruguay, right? We don't. Oh, we have Bolivia. Yeah. It's Bolivia.
Bolivia. No, I don't believe we got it. Bolivia.
No, but we do have one of the coaches is Chilean.
One of
the coaches of the SNFC.
Is he Josh Wolf's number one coach, the guy that tells him everything to do?
When I hear about the rare and inspiring, I think might be in the inspiring side.
That's who it is. Gotcha.
I didn't want to mention before it goes away about Felipe. He's actually a naturalized U.S. citizen, so he does not take up an international spot, and he does not take. He's going to be a supplemental player. Okay. So we still have another spot for international.
Do you think Austin FC will fill that spot sometime? I think either before the season, or maybe early in the season.
Probably in the summer. Probably in the summer, depending on things happen. Who gets injured? Who does not fulfill his obligations or his talent isn't there or whatever, they'll find a guy.
And I guess the summer, that's when you have most of his MLS is kind of weird because it runs, March to October, November versus the other leagues are shutting down in May. So it makes sense that you would pursue.
But coming back to Johan, it was a nice welcoming.
Were you there, Jorge?
I was not there. I had a previous engagement, but I had.
What could be more important than Johan Valencia?
I know, family thing. What can I say? But it was very exciting. He looked like he enjoyed himself. Him and his wife. A long flight from what I hear, because he had put on an Instagram a photo. Either his agent or he himself put a picture of him and his wife on first class coming over here, and it was like 11 hours before.
Oh, wow.
Before the thing. So that's way too long. Something must have happened.
Colombia is at less than 5 hours.
But I think what happened is probably a layover somewhere in Miami.
Colombia is really close, really.
It's really close.
Yeah, You're not gonna, I mean, if you go to Chile, 11-hour flight. 15. I used to take 15, 19 hours to get to Chile before, but nowadays it's 9 hours.
So I imagine. So I imagine he was.
So you're a little skeptical.
I'm very skeptical about. I don't think so. All I do is went to Hawaii and they went back.
Yeah, they are recently. They are recently married.
Okay, I understand that.
They are newlyweds.
But talking about himself, he coming from Cali.
Deportivo Cali.
From Cali, the champion of Colombia. So that in that perspective, it's just the biggest signing of all, because you can bring in a guy that was playing Libertadores Cup, right? A guy that won. That's the biggest signing of all for me.
And, so how do you feel about the state of Austin FC's midfield, David, going into this season? With Ring, with Valencia, with Felipe, with Pereira. Do you feel like that? For obviously Driussi as the attacking midfielder, do you feel good about these options that Austin FC has?
Yeah, definitely. I feel great. I mean, there's great options. I think everywhere we're getting help, and even another goalie. It's like pretty much we're set. I think we should be set with all the players we have. And I mean,
so what you're saying is no excuses for the coach to not perform.
Absolutely no excuses. Absolutely no excuses. If you have the players. And you got the system. Okay, let's do a 4-3-3 again. Okay,
I feel really good about midfield. I feel less good about the attack, and I feel less good about the defense. So that's kind of where I stand right now.
Well, we need to see, how they. I mean, we cannot wait too long to develop this thing. I mean, it's just right around the corner.
The Atlas game is going to be.
It's this urgency. Yeah. We have an urgency.
Good practice game, I think.
Yeah, it's a sense of urgency because the players are there.
Yeah,
is the team there? Like, it's a great signal that you have Reina and Josh Wolf and the front office all taking care of this signing, right? They're all taking responsibility. But that's what we need to change the culture here. It's like the culture is the issue.
How would you define Austin FC's culture right now?
I mean, I don't want to.
You can't. In other words,
family show. I mean,
it is a mess. I mean, honestly, it is a mess right now. We don't have. We need.
Do you think they lack a winning culture, a winning mentality?
That's the main thing. Like, football is about winning, and scoring goals. You got to score goals and win the games. And nowadays, if you want to play like the best, even if you're losing 5-0.
Do you feel comfortable
you need to play like you are winning.
Do you feel comfortable with Austin FC's forward options at this point? Do you think they have enough in attack, like with Gite, Driussi, Urruti, Fagundes? Do you think that's enough, Cecilio?
It's enough, but you don't. I don't think when I think about that, I think the forwards they need to do the job. That's what they get paid: score goals. Okay, but. A complete team is when everybody in the team is going to score. When you see Brazil playing in the qualifying, I mean, those guys, anybody can score, no matter where place on the field you are.
Again, I mean, we were talking in the transfer market. You said Austin FC to be going to the same players as PSG, and now you're saying they got to be playing like Brazil. I feel like you might be setting the bar just a little too high. But I agree. It has to be better. Jorge, what are your thoughts kind of on the state of not just the midfield, but the roster as a whole as we get very, very close to the start of the season?
I think I'm a little worried for Fagundes in the sense that where they're going to put him. Are they going to put him as central attacker? Are they going to put him in the left side, left midfielder, right midfielder? It's going to depend, I hate to say it, David, on the tactics that Josh Wolf is going to use. If he does a 4-3-3, where do you put him? Where do you put Fagundes? He's got to start
on the side. I mean, on the midfield.
I think it's going to be on the right. You could be kind of splitting hairs, but I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. I think you'll have Ring and Valencia.
4-3-3-1.
4-2-3-1. Okay. So you'll have Ring.
I always like more players on the field.
If you can do it,
if you can pull it off,
go for it. Absolutely, go for it. But I think you'll have, as far as the midfield goes, I think you'll have Ring and Valencia more as holding midfielders and Driussi in front as an attacking midfielder. I mean, it could end up looking 4-3-3-ish. But I think it just depends. It's semantics. It just depends on how you classify.
I don't know. And then I like the fact that, George, he likes possession. He likes to have the possession of the ball.
But as far as like what you're saying, Jorge, about Fagundes, I think Fagundes will be the attacker on that right side in the 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, that right-sided winger right side, attacking. That's why
and I think as long as they're consistent, the coaching staff is consistent about where the players' roles and not having switched, because I think one of the things that kind of bothered me last year is that they kept switching Fagundes and Cecilio Dominguez's positions. And sometimes to their detriment. They didn't. Sometimes they played the position that they weren't used to and they didn't like.
I actually think this is a really good point here.
So
unsettled those players.
Yeah, and
so what happened with Cecilio? Where Cecilio's going to play now?
Well, Cecilio will probably play on the left. Yeah,
he's going to be on the left. And
do you
disagree?
You don't think he should play on the left or
center?
I'm in the left of Asunción, Paraguay, but
not a Cecilio.
Because the obviously we go back to the highlights, and the highlights always show the best.
You can make it. I mean, Cecilio really needs to wake up, man. He needs to have some more mate and because he cannot do this shows that he does. Like we don't need that. He needs to concentrate.
The showmanship, the diving,
it's a foul.
I thought he was like a competitor of ours. He had a
no. It's a foul, and he lays down, and he does it wastes time. And I mean, you need to change. I mean, you need to
100% agree with you on that, David. I also think that, to Jorge's point, I think he moved around a lot. It was not just between the left and the right, but he was also filling in at center forward. He was playing in a number 10 role at times.
Midfielder.
He was all over the place. I think having like the left-hand side, that left winger attacking forward role, that is his role. Should be no questions going forward. Just let him start in that role, and it's your time to shine.
Right, because I've seen the highlights last year, and when he was with Deportivo Guarani, and with America, we'll talk about that in a minute. He scored most of his goals on the left side, so that seems to be his preferred spot, because from the left, his strong leg is his right leg. So if you put him on the left side, that will maximize his ability to get on that right foot of his, to be able to get onto goal. So if you can find a way to keep your guys healthy, first of all, and not have the players move around so much, I think they'll be fine. And so, but we'll see again what tactics are with the formations
But we have the players.
We have the players.
We have the players. We definitely have the players.
We have providers now. Especially
I think we have better players this season than last season, but I don't know if we have the players.
Well, this is not Brazil.
It is not.
This is not compared with Brazil.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's go ahead and talk a little World Cup qualifying. And if you were watching us last week, you will have remembered perhaps that we had a little wager. Give me just a moment here.
A bet. No, not a bet, because it's
a wager involving this
challenge.
This hat. A challenge. We'll go with that. A challenge. Absolutely. We don't endorse betting on this show.
No. Especially because we don't make money off it.
Exactly. So basically, we each predicted our winners for the World Cup qualifying in CONMEBOL and in Concacaf. And what ended up happening was we all got the same number of matches correct. So here we go. Here's CONCACAF. So we go to that. If you look at
the score was
there. So Costa Rica, Jamaica. We all picked Costa Rica. So we all got that one right. USA, Honduras. We all picked USA. So we all got that one right. El Salvador, Canada. For some reason, David, you thought El Salvador was going to get a draw in that match. I'm still a little confused by what.
Actually,
Jorge and I, we were sensible.
I forget. They play a very young team. They play
El Salvador.
El Salvador, yeah.
Yeah, because they're pretty much out of it anyway. So
they just did not play. I mean, they were just practicing because they're out already. I didn't know that. That's my bad.
And in Mexico, Panama, you predicted a draw, David. Jorge and I each were bullish on Panama, close. And unfortunately, we're not rewarded for our boldness in our selection of Panama. So we all got that one wrong. But basically what ended up happening, and if you could maybe show the CONMEBOL results here, Jerry. We'll get those pulled up.
The CONMEBOLs were.
Yeah, the first one there
we were all over the place on that one.
Yeah.
But I got the first one, the more important one.
Very happy. So David and Jorge, you each had Chile. I went with Bolivia. I thought La Paz was going to be a bigger factor than what it ended up being. Uruguay, Venezuela. I was the only one sensible enough to predict an Uruguay win. You had a draw, David. Jorge, you thought Valencia. Maybe not your finest moment here on the show.
No,
selection
not
of Valencia.
really. Yeah.
Argentina, Colombia. David, you correctly selected Argentina.
Of course.
Jorge and I, we're not rewarded for our faith in Colombia. Then Brazil, Paraguay, easy one. We all three had Brazil. Peru, Ecuador, we all liked Ecuador. This one ended up being a draw, so we all three got that one.
But
wrong.
that one, I really wanted Ecuador to win so they can qualify. I just
didn't actually make that pick though, so you still get it wrong. Doesn't count.
Sorry.
So, you almost picked. Yeah. I almost picked all of these.
Who's in that? Hey, I didn't bring my hat, so I was ready for the hat.
So I know, I know you were eager to put this hat on, but what you did, David, I know. So Jorge and I, in all of these matches, we all picked winners. Like, we actually stuck our necks out and predicted winners. You, however, predicted a few draws. So even though I hate rewarding your cowardice, technically speaking, you were closer to the right result on a few of these matches than Jorge and I were. So you get a pass. You do not have to wear
the rules. We need to keep this rule for the next round.
So you don't have to wear the hat for at least for now. Who knows? I can't speak towards the future. So what we're gonna do to decide this, we're gonna decide this like gentlemen, Jorge.
Yes.
We're gonna do a game of rock, paper, scissors, and the loser will have the good fortune of wearing this wonderful hat and will console all your sorrow in the defeat of rock, paper, scissors if you happen to lose. Okay.
All right.
So let's go ahead. Let's not waste any time.
Yes.
David, you want to be the referee of this rock, paper, scissors contest?
Okay.
We're a multi-sport show now.
Yeah. In your mark. Get set. Go.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh,
no! So if we can see here, scissors for me, paper for Jorge.
Paper for me.
And as we all know, scissors cut paper.
Yes.
So Jorge, there you go.
I said in What's Up that I was going to get ready for this thing. So
there you go. That's a good looking hat. Don't be afraid to spin it. It's got a nice little spinner on top there.
Somebody do it for me.
There you go. That's a good looking hat. That's a good. Not quite as nice as your hat, David. But it's
but
it's close.
It's pretty good looking hat.
It's getting there.
So I want to.
And as a sign of humility, I'll wear this for the rest of the show.
Love it. That's a team player. That's why we like Jorge.
Yes.
Love it. Jerry, I don't know if you could maybe pull up the CONMEBOL standings. I got a few questions for our CONMEBOL expert, Mr. David Alvarez, that I would like to ask him, just kind of about where things stand in the CONMEBOL region. Yeah, there we go. So Chile, big win in La Paz, David, but they are still on the outside looking in as far as qualification to Qatar 2022. So they are in 6th position, and they need to be in at least 5th to get a shot at going to the playoff for a spot in Qatar. How do you feel? Where are your feelings as far as where the Chilean national team stand in regards to qualifying for the World Cup?
Well, Chile has 2 more games. One in Brazil, in Bahia with Brazil in March, and the other game is with Uruguay. So they're trying to do it also in the altitude in Chile. So we need to win at least 4 points to make it to the.
So
4 points with 4 points
in Chile, right?
Yeah, Uruguay is the last game. Uruguay in Chile. So it would depend. I mean, because of the schedule, you see that Colombia, Chile, Uruguay, Ecuador, Peru, they're all fighting.
Yeah,
everybody's fighting. Everybody has a chance. Bolivia, and Paraguay, and Venezuela, they're out. Right.
So you're out on Valencia or on Venezuela. You because a couple weeks ago you said they still had a shot. You're
No, they don't have a shot anymore.
Don't have a shot.
No, they don't have a shot anymore. But Paraguay doesn't have a shot. Bolivia doesn't have a shot. Bolivia, I mean, kudos to them. They played really good. I mean, the game with Chile was awesome. They could have scored. We have good goalie. So the way I see Chile, like we got a new goalie, a good replacement for Bravo. We have Vidal is back from suspension. We have Benetton.
He's really good. I like Benetton.
So he's playing
so we're
kind of
gonna
a front
have,
two against Bolivia, wasn't it? But with Berton Diaz and Alexis Sanchez.
Yes.
How do they combine together? They have a good
That
chemistry?
was really good. That was great. No, they're playing great. And Benetton was doing a lot of work, like physical work. He's like giving 100%.
He's the real deal, isn't he?
People love him. You know, he. But this time was the game of Alexis Sanchez.
Do you think
Alexis Sanchez was? What I'm saying is like was so important in that game. He scored 2 goals. He could do a third one, another free kick that he
it was really close.
Oh my God, it was so close.
Really close.
So he came back, you know, and now it's. I mean, the fact that he's back, and Vidal is back, and the Brereton is back. I think we have a chance with Brazil.
Do you think that the addition of Brereton has helped Alexis Sanchez?
Yeah. Definitely. No.
So
Brereton helps everybody. Brereton has been
really injected life into that team.
Yeah,
they go.
Yeah,
Everybody touched the ball, you know, he has such a love for it and he plays 100%. He's so tired at 70 minutes, you know, he always gets a sub at that time.
Do you think that Berton Diaz, do you think he can play for like one of the top European clubs like an Arsenal, PSG?
Well, he's already being asked for, it's already, I mean, how many, he scored what, 18, 17
Where's
goals?
he at right now?
Blackburn.
Oh, okay.
Blackburn, and he's this big striker.
He
did not play last weekend. We don't know why. That's a big secret. But he didn't play for Blackburn, but he can play any team. And this guy doesn't have the technique.
So should Chelsea, should they get rid of Romelu Lukaku and get Berton Diaz? Would that solve the
look
problem?
at the goal he scored against Argentina, the header, over the Aston Villa Martinez. Like the guy is huge. It's like 6'7", right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And that way he scored that header, that was beautiful. Like
that was a great header.
Because one thing I like about Brereton is his height. He uses his height very well.
And his body.
And
he uses his body. Yeah, he's a big guy.
I'm used to Chilean players, most of them having the same kind of size. Yeah. And he just brings a different dimension.
Yeah. And we have we have big guys like Maripan in the back, you know, it's not that good, but we have Medel is still there, and they already know Medel know how to play with Neymar. You know, it's gonna be a final over there in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I think I still see Chile at least getting a point, and then 3 more points in against Uruguay because.
So you think they'll do enough?
I think we're enough to get it to the next. At least to the playoff.
One question for you, David, before we move on to CONCACAF and kind of breaking that down a little further. Colombia, when are they going to score a goal again? Because Jorge and I picked Colombia to win, but unfortunately you have to actually score a goal to win.
That's usually how it works.
Colombia have not scored in 7 straight matches. They haven't scored in 646 minutes of play.
That's incredible.
That is awful. David, what is going on? When will they score again?
Well, when we bring the Egyptian coach back.
No. No.
Why not?
No, Carlos Queiroz.
Carlos Queiroz did not do very well, but he lasted way less than Rueda. I mean, they got rid of Queiroz way better, and look at where Queiroz is now with Egypt. But you have Rueda playing awful for Chile. No idea what he was doing.
Why did Colombia? Why would they?
And then why? That's the question. Why Colombia? Remember, I was so happy. Colombia, yes, get him, take him as soon as possible. You took too long.
Oh,
Anybody,
took too long
because this guy.
You were right. You called it. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. This guy. I mean, rather honestly, no, it's not this level. He can play in a different league. Like some coaches are destined to play in different leagues. You know, this is too big for them. As simple as that. I'm sorry, and Colombia has all the players.
They had Falcao there. They had James there.
So I know we have a lot of fans of the Premier League that watch our show. Liverpool just acquired Luis Diaz, a Colombian. Should they be concerned at all that he's a part of this just run of lack of scoring for Colombia, or is this really just down to
But you saw he played yesterday, right? He played great game. The assist for Liverpool. This guy is crazy. He scored 18 goals.
So this is purely about the coach. It's not about. Look
at the Zapata. Where is Zapata? Like killing it in Italy.
Yeah, he's an
I don't know where's
amazing goal scorer. Luis Muriel, too.
Where's
Muriel.
Duvan?
Yeah.
Where's Duvan?
They didn't bring the guys.
I mean, honestly, James Rodriguez is not for. And Falcao, no, I mean, they had their time. There's not their time anymore. Those guys are too old. Honestly, I mean.
Falcao, maybe. I think James, he's saving lives. And even you go back to last season at Everton, he started really strong.
He started strong, but what happened with him? They got rid of him, and then where he plays now? Saudi Arabia, right?
I think so, yeah.
So no, James Rodriguez, you need to be playing at a higher level to be playing with the national team. You cannot play at that level. That's disrespectful, and I think Rueda needs an apology to Colombia, honestly, because Colombia has so much.
You go 646 minutes without a goal.
Yeah,
I think
that's not going to cut it.
You got some apologizing to do. I think that's fair to
totally
say.
Agree.
You cannot blame everything on the goal and on the players. Don't blame it on the players. Just take full responsibility.
Sometimes it's the fault of the coach. Remember that.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, let's talk a little CONCACAF. Jerry, my man, can you get the CONCACAF standings on the screen for us here? So I want to ask you, Jorge, about, we alluded to it in the intro, the U.S., and that's where things stand right now. Canada, they're all but qualified. 25. Look at that. 7 wins, 4 draws, no defeats.
Losses.
Unbeaten.
No losses.
Canada right now.
Incredible.
U.S. and for all the, I know there's been a lot of, on U.S. men's national team Twitter, a lot of negativity about how the U.S. have played in qualifying, but there they are tied with Mexico. I mean, it depends on how, it's all about perspective, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just the grass is always greener across the street from my house. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I will gladly take Berhalter over Reda. Gladly.
100%.
At least the U.S. scores.
No, he has done a great
exactly. At least they score sometimes.
Hey, but he has done a great job.
And so I want to maybe talk a little bit with you, Jorge, about this U.S.-Honduras match. That was a pretty interesting match for a few reasons. First of which was the weather. So I saw a few different reports. I saw 5 degrees was the kickoff. It was 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I know you're a Celsius guy, David, but Fahrenheit is what I operate in. So 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
With the wind chill, it was 10 below?
Yeah.
I think something.
Well, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Jesus.
Yeah, that's a cold one.
I don't know how much is that.
Yeah, you can look.
Should this match have been played in St. Paul, Jorge?
No. The U.S. has way too much talent to resort to this kind of thing, to freeze out, I know it's a little bit of psychological shenanigans going on and that kind of thing. And there's 2 sides to it. This is CONCACAF. This kind of stuff is what you see in CONCACAF. You see 2 o'clock heat games in the middle of the jungle in Central America.
After the match.
And nobody has any issue with that, with their guys sweating, and melting out there in the pitch. They don't have any problem with that, but they have a problem with the U.S. playing it, and Canada, for that matter, using their advantages, and those are their advantages. I mean, most of the guys that were in that team are used to playing in cold weather in Europe, and some in here in the U.S., in New York and Colorado and stuff. So they're used to it, but that's one thing. If you don't have that much of a player advantage, of a talent advantage, which the U.S. clearly has. And so they didn't need to resort to that.
Yeah, Honduras, we saw the table. They're on just 3 points.
Yeah,
so
they aren't going to do that much harm. So, I mean, I know they wanted to go after the result and all that kind of stuff, but, it wasn't necessary.
And Bolillo Gomez is the coach for Honduras, another Colombian coach.
And I love his quote.
The moral of the story is do not hire a Colombian coach, David. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well,
I don't want to make generalizations.
I actually like him. I think he's a good coach. He was just brought in too late to save the qualifying for El Salvador, but I like his quote that he says, these games are not made to endure, they're made to suffer.
I did like that quote.
And so,
but he lost 7 in a row, 6 in a row.
It was not a good campaign. So they did not show, which is odd because in was it Copa de Oro? No, in Nations League. No, I forgot which. In both tournaments, I think they did very, very well.
Yeah.
They qualified for the Olympics
it's a huge
disappointment.
It's a weird
dynamic.
Honduras, they can have so many
versus the senior squad. There's
a disconnect there.
It's like Colombia. It's like very much because Honduras can bring players from anywhere.
Yeah, so might as well, they kind of did that. They brought in not the best players they had, but just the younger type. Because they kind of knew that they were out of qualifying. So
yeah, but the Salvador is like they're getting a lot of praise right now for the way the coach.
Yeah, Hugo Perez is doing a great job.
He's doing really good.
They play a really fun style of soccer.
And then because they're bringing just young kids, it's ready to play the next level. I mean. And that's the way to do it. I mean, I think Honduras needs to do it too. They need to tap into the local.
So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see them how they progress in the next 4 years because they got a lot of good players. They got good coach with a good base there. So it'll be interesting. I don't think they're going to be pushovers anymore.
But the thing here is like we have another Colombian coach, Costa Rica. Can Costa Rica pull it off?
That's going to be interesting, because
Pinto, right?
Because the next phase is going to be 3 games, and looking at it from the U.S.
have some tricky matches.
They have some tricky matches.
I mean, it starts at the Azteca.
Starting with the next match at Azteca.
Oh my God! So this is going to be like final. That's going to be a final.
It's going to be.
It's always entertaining.
21 points. Yeah, that's going to be.
And I do have plans to go to that game.
Wow. So Jorge, get some footage for us.
I'll get some footage.
I'll
get some footage.
And if you find a spare ticket, I'm available. I'm available. So, talking about the U.S. though, it's been kind of a mixed bag during this most recent batch of fixtures here. Would you say this performance against Honduras, this was a 3-0 win, the largest margin of victory the U.S. had during this window? Were you convinced by that performance? Was it really better? All 3 goals came from set pieces, so still maybe lacking a bit in open play. But was it better for you, for the U.S. against Honduras?
It was because 2 of those goals came in the first half. For whatever reason, in this qualifying round, the U.S. has been very slow coming out to start the game. They only scored 2 goals, I think, in the whole campaign. But in the second half, they come back. And you can't always rely on that.
Have you ever played soccer in a mask like that there, David?
Well, that's actually minus 15 Celsius.
Wow.
They played minus 15 Celsius, which is Honduras.
You were wondering what the Celsius temperature was in St. Paul.
But it was... That's
you got it right here.
2 people with hypothermia. I mean, minus 15.
2 Honduran players subbed out for hypothermia. Yeah. That is not something you
including see. The goalkeeper, I think. Was he one of them? I can't remember who they were. But
no, that's brutal.
Still, that's brutal.
No, because minus 15. I was like, you say minus 5. I said, well, minus 5, not that bad. But that's minus 15.
Not that bad.
Okay, minus 5 Celsius, right? It's bad, but not that bad. I mean, because after that, but then 15. Okay. Oh my God!
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of cold.
But yeah, anyways, but yeah, as far as the U.S. is concerned, I think this next game is very, very critical. If they can come out with a positive result, either a tie and a win at Azteca, and they're vulnerable. I think honestly,
Mexico have not been
great. They did not play very well
against Panama.
Yeah, they won.
Bailed out by the penalty,
but they won. Won. And so, because
at halftime of that match against the Mexico-Panama match, I mean, possession was 50-50. Like, Panama came in there and played. Right. They came in there and played some football. Yeah. It was fun.
And so if it wasn't for, and a lot of people are going to criticize me, but Linus dived. I don't care what VAR said. I don't care where it happened.
What do you think, David?
He took a dive. But but I will admit this, that it looks exactly like the play that Pulisic gained a penalty kick for in the Nations League final. So they're very similar. But, like I said, I think both of them have too much talent to be doing that kind of stuff. But, hey, gamesmanship, he won the penalty.
Speaking of Pulisic, okay, I'm going to pose this question to both of you guys here. So Pulisic did not start this match against Honduras, came off the bench and scored.
Yeah.
But overall has not been playing well for the U.S., has certainly not been playing well for Chelsea. Gio Reyna just got back into action for Borussia Dortmund. Not a good weekend for Borussia Dortmund overall.
We don't want to talk
but
about
Gio
that.
Reyna's back. That's good news for U.S. Men's national team fans. Here's the question I have. Okay, so Tim Weah, I think, has been dynamite playing on the right wing.
Best player, other than McKinney.
Yeah, best player other than McKinney, I think, for this recent round of fixtures.
Yeah.
With Reyna back, is Pulisic still an automatic starter, or does he have to actually prove himself to get back into the starting lineup?
I think he has to prove himself in the sense that he needs to transfer, I don't know, from either national team to club team or club team to national team, but he's got to improve in both. And so what's interesting is that the past couple of games that Pulisic has scored, he's actually been the substitute. He substituted in for this game against El Salvador, and he scores. He substituted in for the game against Mexico, and he scores. Mm-hmm. So it seems like that.
You need to be a sub.
He needs to be a sub. Right now, he needs to be a sub because he's not getting the time in Chelsea.
And I totally
that's fine.
It's fine. Like that happened, I remember when Alexis used to play for Barca. He always came in.
That's right.
He always come in the second half, and he always scored.
And
but he was like, and he will have Pedro and Alexis in the same position, and he will switch him all the time.
Because I think it helped Pulisic sitting on the bench, seeing the tactics that the opposing team has, and then he comes in with fresh legs.
Was that you, David, without the shirt on there? You said it's not a big deal. You said, was that you? Did you say, I'm a little hot, I gotta get this shirt on?
Because it's only 15 degrees.
Only 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
But I would do that. I mean,
I would do that.
I would do it in the go, but
And then as soon as the camera's on, you put on a big
I would be on a wetsuit.
I don't know if the cameras would show you.
I don't think that works. But
children are watching these matches. I don't know if they want to show that.
No, but
okay, so here's the other thing. So about Pulisic, though, and I want to get at you look very serious there, Tommy. Pulisic, would it be better for him to be a sub at Chelsea or say like a regular starter every match superstar for like an Everton or something? Like, is it better? Is it more valuable for him to be at a big club, even though he's not going to be starting week in, week out? Or would it be more valuable for him to be at a club like Everton where he would be guaranteed more minutes, more times in the starting lineup?
I mean, it is a fair question, But
I only ask fair questions.
But when you think about it, I mean, it's whatever the team is playing for. It's like we need to think about in Chelsea, is he playing better than the other guys? Playing than Lukaku. Is Lukaku playing? And so I have to think about the other variables there. Same thing with the U.S. teams, right? I was going to say American team. Sorry. But in the U.S. team, what he needed, it was to score that goal. For me, he's scoring that goal already put him. We don't need to wait for him to score another goal. But I think the fact that he scored a goal, I would put him again. I would put him in as a starter next game. I would do that. So that's why I answered the question. Yeah, I will definitely. He already did it. And at least in the U.S. team. Chelsea is a different thing, because it's a different. We can talk about that.
What do you think, Jorge? Is it better to be a rotational option at a super club or a superstar at a smaller club?
Let me just say something.
Okay.
It's not gonna be. It's like you're not sure there's gonna be a star in another team. He's gonna go Nottingham Forest and be a star there.
He could. No. They played really well, by the way.
No, he might not make it in. He might not make it into the starting lineup as well as Nottingham Forest are playing.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways, but to answer your question, I struggle to answer that in a way that's going to be helpful, because if Pulisic does well in Chelsea all of a sudden, like he did in Dortmund, because if we recall his days in Dortmund, when he first started, he didn't play all that much. He played sporadically. Then he became a sub, and then he became the regular starter, and that bought him the opportunity to play in Chelsea. And in Chelsea, that seems to be happening again. And he's still young. He's 24, 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's got to get to that point where you can't be doing that anymore. You have to be a starter by the time in your prime, which is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And the sooner he gets to that position, the better it is for whatever club he's in and for the U.S. national team. So if he can manage to do that at Chelsea, great, all the better. But if he's going to get a better opportunity to do that in a little bit of a lesser club, say, Everton, Leicester, one of those, I'm all for it. I mean, you don't have to be it's nice to be the starter in Chelsea, but if you're not really contributing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jorge. I think minutes are the key. Yeah. I think especially for Pulisic at Chelsea, it is so frustrating because he was a star at Chelsea. When Project Restart happened and those games resumed after the COVID break, he absolutely dragged Chelsea to a top 4 Champions League qualification spot. Yeah. He was Chelsea's best player down the stretch that season. So to go from that to where he is now, where he's, it's looking likely that he will probably leave Chelsea because I don't see the opportunities for him. It's a new manager, and you talked about how at Dortmund he wasn't a consistent starter initially. Thomas Tuchel, that was his manager when he wasn't a starter consistently at Dortmund.
That's a big thing that's in common. I don't know if Tuchel is playing with his head or what, but he tends to do that.
I mean, Tuchel likes to rotate. He doesn't necessarily. He's not a manager that has like a set starting 11. He likes to chop and change. But even so, I think for Pulisic, this is a guy that, to me, looks like someone without confidence, someone that just needs a consistent run of minutes, some good things to happen to him, score some goals, and then I think he can pick up where he left off a couple seasons ago. But he's only going to get that if he plays. So to me, the most important thing is minutes.
Yeah. So we'll see. I haven't heard any rumors about him. There's always been rumors about him going to Real Madrid or Barcelona.
I think you could be in the same situation as you're in at Chelsea, where you struggle, you go on the bench.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Even with probably even more eyes on you because of those teams.
Imagine.
Well, Chelsea are the biggest club in the world, David. Of course, we all know that.
Yeah. Well,
but we're mentioning the Spanish clubs. Let's go ahead and close this edition of Futbol En Vivo by talking a little La Liga, shall we? Guys want to talk some La Liga?
Sure.
A little Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. So Barcelona find themselves back in La Liga's top 4, courtesy of a 4-2 victory over Atletico Madrid. David, Barca, back in the top 4 in La Liga. Is it fair to say the Xavi experiment didn't start particularly well for Barca, but sure did finish well?
Yeah. No. I mean, definitely it's what, I don't know. There's 2 things. One is we have Xavi in one side and we have Simeone in the other one. And they heat up this game. This game was hot.
This was a great match. This was a lot of fun.
Xavi said one time that, we are here and there. That was all the fight.
They had a little tussle.
And then Xavi, did I mean, all the purchases were great. I mean, honestly.
So you like the Aubameyang signing and the Traore signing?
Of course, I love Traore. I love Aubameyang. I love
the Traore signing. I have doubts about Aubameyang. Real doubts.
No, I don't have a doubt.
A 3-year contract. He's 32. He's
they
brought back Danny Alves.
He has not. I mean, the only time he has Arteta had a problem with him in Arsenal.
So you think that's what it is? You think it's all like his struggles at Arsenal are down to Arteta? Because that's
it. Because that was the only problem. Because
you don't think the fact that he's 32
but how many goals?
His primary skill is pace, and now he's getting older.
How many goals did he score for Arsenal? He's one of the highest striker behind Henry and Alexis Sanchez, or even above Alexis Sanchez in Arsenal.
That was a couple seasons ago. Well, how many scored? He scored this season or last season?
It's been a little bit later.
He was late, and he lost his captaincy. He didn't even play. He had problems with COVID. So he had not. But he is, for me, is one of the best strikers in the world. So I'm happy to have him in Barcelona. And I'm sorry, Arteta, I know, but I mean, that's the problem.
Okay, it's interesting, though. Okay, so if you think about Arteta, obviously assistant under Pep Guardiola, Xavi a player under Pep Guardiola. You think there might be, I mean, was it just a personality thing? Because tactically, there could be some overlap between what Arteta's trying to do at Arsenal and what Xavi's trying to do at Barca, one might think.
Yeah, and it's just what's personality.
So you think it was just personality?
Yeah, that was they just. I mean, Guardiola did the same thing. He never he took Ronaldinho out. He took Deco out.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a really good.
That was a beautiful goal.
Some people were like a little critical that he hit it with his shin. Does that take any value?
Not a value at all. No.
I'm 100% in agreement with you guys.
It doesn't matter.
One last thing though about Aubameyang though, David. So Aubameyang, a striker that tends to like to drift, to the left, kind of can sometimes just play as an outright left winger. That is kind of what Memphis Depay is as well. Why would you go buy Aubameyang when you already have Memphis Depay? I don't understand.
I mean, it's good to have all of them. I mean, it's
good to have all the strikers.
Yeah, but you don't have De Jong. Do you? I mean, the other guy, what's his name? Some forward, Van der Vaart, I forgot his name.
Luke De Jong was a striker.
Yeah, Luke De Jong and the other kid, the Danish kid.
Braithwaite?
Braithwaite's out. He was injured.
Yeah. So compare those guys with these two new guys, Aubameyang and Manfred Depay. Great, have him. And you had Dani Alves. Dani Alves bring all the spirit.
Dani Alves was incredible in this match. I absolutely loved watching him. He was doing kind of like
I think that was the best decision.
Where he was like playing in midfield almost. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It's great to have him get a red card.
That was
Traore.
So I think
Adama Traore.
I'm 100% with you on Traore.
He's really good. Yeah,
it was interesting.
They cannot stop him. They
couldn't stop him.
Listening to the ESPN commentators during this match, they brought up a point that like La Liga doesn't really have players of the profile like Traore. He's very much like this super direct, very dribbly, pacey type player. Very much like
dribble and cross.
You see
That's what he does.
Yeah, you see a lot of these players in the Premier League. It's a very popular player profile in England, but less so in Spain. And it just looked like Atletico Madrid's defenders. They didn't know what to do with this guy. They're like, what is this? Like an alien just dropped in outer space and was playing. Okay, things about Atletico right now. I was looking up some numbers. La Liga is interesting because the teams have all played kind of different number of matches. So I did this.
It's very strange.
I did this by just goals conceded per match. Atletico Madrid actually rank 14th in La Liga in goals conceded per match. What is going on? Are we seeing the beginning of the end for Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so because he had 2-3 years in a good run, but
more than that,
and decade,
6,
but sometimes things get stale, and I think his tactics are getting a little stale. Everybody else has not only caught up to his tactics, but superseded them, and so now he doesn't have the players even though he has pretty much the same. We talked about this earlier, Dave.
Yeah,
we pretty much has the same players as last year,
and better.
Sometimes in some positions
some
better.
Really good players. Yeah, Angel Correa, who didn't start for some reason.
Yeah, but for some reason they're just not producing. I mean, Luis Suarez isn't playing to his caliber, and most of the guys aren't playing to their caliber.
What do you think about João Felix? Because this is a guy that I think it's really spent a ton of money for. Is it a situation where like he is this ultra attacking player, wants to get on the ball, and he's playing on a Diego Simeone team where you don't necessarily get to see a lot of the ball? Is that just a conflict there? Is it Simeone holding him back, or is he himself just kind of underwhelming? Is it a bit of both, or what do you think it is?
I mean, it reminds me a little bit when we were talking about Pulisic earlier.
Yeah, that's true. It was same kind of situation.
He's in and out of the starting 11 as well.
Yeah, and they have kind of the same quality. They can take the ball, bring, dribble a couple guys and score, but they don't feel comfortable. I mean, obviously there's something that's missing this year with Atletico. But again, Cholo Simeone can always bring it back. He's still.
So you're not willing to give up on Simeone?
No, I'm not. But I think he might be thinking to moving on. I think he is.
I agree
so
with that.
I don't think he's putting all 100% right now, because look at what he had done with Atletico. Atletico was always like a second tier out there, before, and now he's top 10.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the question I have for you. So we've talked about one of our favorite subjects, Jose Mourinho. And one of the things we say about Mourinho is that his style of football, conservative, defensive football, is not in vogue. This is not the style of football you win with in 2022.
Benitez is another
Simeone, Benitez, great example. But why is Simeone different? Why can he still find success at Atletico Madrid when these other more defensively inclined managers are just, falling out of the game?
Because they give it all. Like he plays with 100. Everybody had to play 100%, and they put a lot of, So
it's about this cult of personality. The players buying into his.
Like they know what he wants to do, right? I mean, they not always agree. I mean, Suarez is not happy. Obviously, he's not happy with him. I mean, there's another crash that you had to deal with. Like as a coach, you had to deal with all these personalities, strong personalities. So it's not easy. It's not easy to have it. Now, another way is like he has more stars now than they used to have. So you got to manage those ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are just about out of time here on Football in Vivo, here on Club Deportes. Special thank you to Jerry Lopez, working the boards. Excellent work, Jerry. Absolutely love it. You did a great job zooming in on Jorge's excellent headwear right there. That's wonderful stuff. Give him one more spin, Davi, before we close out here. Nice. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, yeah, we are airing on ClubDeportes.com every Monday at 10 p.m. Be sure to follow Club Deportes on Twitter at Club Deportes, and follow us, Football in Vivo, at Football Austin, FUTBOL Austin. We are Football in Vivo, you guys. We will do it again next week.